It began not with fire, but ice. A violent storm sweeping across New South Wales. Weather stations mapped 19,100 lightning strikes. At the tail end, strike 19,068, an outlier from the storm landing deep in Wallamai National Park. For the first time, we can show you that single point of ignition, a stringy bark since felled by forensic teams. A lightning strike to this tree sparked one of the biggest bushfires the world has ever seen. What became known as the Gospers Mountain fire raged for 79 days, burning a path towards the edge of Sydney. This is a line scan. It's a thermal image taken by aircraft used by firefighters to plot the blaze. 2.5 hours after ignition, it had burnt through 65 hectares. As 3 helicopters attempted to douse the flames, winds became treacherous.
We had records of gusts up to 67 kilometres an hour that day, so it was too windy for the helicopter to water bucket on the fire.
National Parks sent in fixed-wing water bombers. It wasn't enough. By the next morning, the fire had torn through 521 hectares of park.
Everywhere from the Queensland border south to the Sydney Basin was involved in firefighting, so resources were absolutely stretched.
10 days into the battle, rain brought a reprieve. Remarkably, the line scan from that day shows the flames all but extinguished. Gospers was down, but not out.
It was a sleeping giant at the very beginning. We did have some rainfall on the fire ground and the fire went to sleep, but as soon as the weather turned again, it reared its head again.
On November 12, conditions became catastrophic. The fire began a massive run. Flames travelled 12 kilometres in a little over 2.5 hours. Its speed overwhelmed firefighters as the Gospers blaze doubled in size to 56,000 hectares.
So heading north, heading south, heading east, heading west. It was all points of the compass.
All efforts were put into creating a fire break on the dry McDonald River, but their work disappeared in moments. Lightning sparked new blazes outside the containment lines. The 3 Mile Creek, Little L Complex and Thompsons Creek fires were born.
It was a day of absolute devastation because we realised that what we'd been doing to date was now null and void, and we had to make now fallback strategies for a bigger picture yet again.
On the 3rd of December, the RFS was optimistic that it could finally get a hold on the Gospers Mountain fire. But as preparations were underway for a backburn in this area, there was the discovery of a car in this car park. There were 2 missing hikers and a ground and air search began. By the time the men were found by police swimming in the Colo River, the weather had turned. Backburning was called off as winds became treacherous. Now nothing could stop the blaze sweeping into Colo village.
We could have held the Gospers Mountain section of the fire right there, and that would have made one heck of a difference to the Colo Heights village.
As the Gospers Mountain blaze continued to expand, computer simulations warned several fires could merge. By late morning on December 6, that nightmare scenario was unfolding. The Gospers Mountain blaze joined up with the Little L Complex and Paddock Run fires in the Lower Hunter. Over 300,000 hectares were now alight, a dozen homes lost, and still it grew. That afternoon, it connected with both the 3 Mile and Thompsons Creek fires. The mega blaze was born.
There's not really any words that summarise the intensity of that fire. The heat, the smoke, the noise.
But the worst was yet to come. Near Lithgow, crews couldn't keep up and the fire swept to the city's doorstep. At Mount Wilson, an unpredicted weather change caught fire crews by surprise. Their backburn got away, sparking the Gross Valley blaze, which destroyed dozens of homes around Bilpin.
They put their heart and soul into that planning of that particular strategy, and to have it go like it did on that afternoon due to the weather conditions that we didn't know were coming, it was very devastating for them.
Oh, that's black.
It all led to this, the peak of the mega blaze.
That's massive, man. I've never seen that before.
On the southern flank of the blaze, crews were trying to stop the fire, jumping the Hawkesbury River and making a run into Sydney's suburbs.
Oh, TP!
Just walls of flame, and like as far as you could see from the treetops up to the sky.
And there was just fire all around us. It was like Mordor in Lord of the Rings.
These are new images of the inferno, now spotting up to 12 kilometres ahead of the fire front.
It was just orange no matter where you looked. Nothing fully prepares you for what is coming towards you.
The Hills Brigades were now in a fight to save their own suburbs. For the first time, we can show you how close Sydney's northern outskirts came to disaster. If the fire jumped the Hawkesbury River near Wiseman's Ferry, only a stretch of tinder-dry bush would separate it from homes in Sydney's leafy northern suburbs. At the speed the fire was travelling, it would take just a day. For the first time, the weather was with the firefighters and the containment lines held. December 21 still inflicted a terrible toll.
To lose those properties that we did was something that they're still coming to grips with, but we have to look at the fact that we also saved many, many hundreds of properties, and it helps if people can take that time to prepare their property for the fire season.
The fire eventually tore through more than 1 million hectares of land. Hundreds of homes and buildings were lost, along with countless numbers of wildlife. On the 8th of January, the mega blaze was finally contained, but it took another month and flooding for it to be extinguished. A mega blaze no one will forget.
Enormous, just big, and just went on forever.